What's up, my dear friends and followers? I'm Tyrell Ordine, and welcome to another episode of the Cricket Rockstar Show. It's the 53rd episode of this podcast. We have a lot of cricket to talk about, from the IPL to West Indies Championship final, which bowls off tomorrow. But before I get into that, I must talk about this Masters of Ceremony Masterclass I attended in Port of Spain today. Today, folks, I had the utmost pleasure of attending Star Broadcasting Master of Ceremonies Masterclass, hosted by media personality, now Member of Parliament for Digger West, Hans de Veens. I learned so much things throughout the entire one-day seminar, my friends, starting with personal branding to public speaking, followed by research techniques, interview skills, event protocol, and last but not least, pricing and professionalism. On the whole, the entire one-day seminar was an absolute blast, and looking back at everything that I learned, I always knew that I was always born to be the MC that was going to make it big as a cricket presenter / commentator. And hopefully I also hope that I can get the opportunity to become a game show host, because growing up, I used to watch a lot of retro and modern day game shows. I also want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Nigel Nicholson. Why? Because my dear friend and founder of Star Broadcasting put in a lot of hard work and did a wonderful, splendid job in organizing this event. And more importantly, to get Hans de Veens to host the event was such box office, though. Why I'm saying that is because he's very busy as a parliamentarian now. That's the reason why he's not allowed to host events anymore. But on the other hand, these guys have been working out on this for a very long time, and I must admit, the way how he invited past students from radio courses and TV / podcasting courses in the past was somewhat of a treat. I managed to meet about 20 odd people there. It was very nice. It was such a wonderful atmosphere, to say the least, and to learn how to be a master of ceremony and all these topics mentioned. Hopefully in the future, God's willing, I get an opportunity to host events outside of Palmeiras and Special Olympics. That is something that I've always wanted to do outside those two, and I love hosting all events respective of the fact. But nevertheless, they did a splendid job in organizing this event, and more importantly, as I just mentioned, those two organizations, I would like to give a special massive shout out to everybody at Palmeiras Learning Center and everyone at Special Olympics Trinidad and Tobago. Why? Because if it wasn't for their support, I wouldn't have existed as a celebrity or even a resident MC at these events. Moving away from the event that I attended earlier today to talking about what happened at the IPL between the 11th and the 15th of May. The Indian Premier League within the last 5-6 days delivered nothing short of pure unfiltered action, witnessed heavy scoring spectacles at high altitude venues, a masterclass in defensive bowling on the flat decks of Ahmedabad, and crucial mid-table shakeups that leaves the traditional powerhouses fighting either for survival for playoff spots or either crashing out of the playoff running. So far already, Lucknow Super Giants and the Mumbai Indians are already eliminated from the playoff running, which means that they are playing for pride for their last couple of matches. But we must start off on the 11th of May in Dharamsala, where the Delhi Capitals kept their playoff hopes alive by pulling off a staggering 3-wicket victory over the Punjab Kings. Chasing a formidable 211, the Capitals were in all sorts of trouble at one stage. Then came impact substitute Madam Tiwari, or should I say Mahav Tiwari. Despite a late power hitting masterclass from the other impact substitute from Punjab Kings, Shreyas Shage, to push the Kings past the 200 plus mark, the Capitals managed to perfectly calculate their entry points against a Punjab Kings bowling attack which has been struggling in the last several games, hunting down the 211 runs with 6 deliveries remaining, or should I say with 1 over to spare, finishing on 216 for the loss of 7. This result, though, has without a doubt set up a very chaotic tone for the remaining games to come in the week, which provided that no target over 200 plus is safe, especially on pitches that are known to be dry, flat, and suits the batters alike. Then 24 hours later on Tuesday, the entire script changed as over in the Narendra Modi Stadium, the Gujarat Titans put on a clinical defensive bowling display against the explosive Sunrisers Hyderabad after grinding out a competitive 168 for 5 on a surface that demanded precision rather than blind power. The Gujarat bowling unit, spearheaded by what was a very lethal spell from Kagiso Rabada, in which he did execute his plans flawlessly. Sunrisers Hyderabad's all-out aggressive batting lineup was, without a doubt, systematically dismantled, resulting in what was an absolute capitulation for just 86 runs in 15 overs. This massive 82-run victory for the Titans not only sent them to the top 2, but more importantly, they're at the top tier of the table. And if provided massive net run rate, they could prove very decisive when the playoffs comes around. Then the action did shift to the middle week as the heavyweights such as RCB and MI, who, mind you, as I mentioned earlier on, alongside LSG, are already out of the playoff running. Now in Raipur on the 13th of May, RCB, thanks to a vintage Virat Kohli masterclass where King Kohli smashed his 9th IPL century to make sure that the Royal Challengers stay at the top of the table with a thrilling 5-wicket victory over the woeful Kolkata Knight Riders, which was propelled, as I mentioned before, by a vintage century from number 18, known for the MRF bat and for being one of the modern greats of the game, to chase down 192 runs. Virat's 9th IPL century, the most by any player in the history of the 18-year run tournament, proved to be very decisive in the end as he secured yet another Player of the Match award with that wonderful century. Then on Thursday, back in Dharamsala, Mumbai Indians edged out Punjab Kings by 6 wickets with 1 delivery to spare in what was a very close encounter where Mumbai successfully chased down over 200 plus runs with just 1 delivery remaining on the back of Tilak Verma's brilliant composed innings under immense pressure. While Mumbai's victory did keep them at the bottom of the table alongside 2 extra points, it did expose Punjab Kings' crippling inability to defend massive totals at the death. Incidentally, since the start of the IPL though, Punjab Kings won their first 7 matches. But however, within the last 5 games they have played, they have or should I say, in the last 5 games they have played, they have collapsed in spectacular fashion to 5 consecutive defeats, leaving them in a very dangerous, precarious situation and possibly missing out on the playoff berth. Now, they're still in 4th place though, and why I'm saying that is because yesterday when Chennai Super Kings played Lucknow Super Giants in Uttar Pradesh in Punjab, or should I say in Lucknow, beg your pardon, the Lucknow Super Giants, dead last on the table, absolutely blew out the Chennai Super Kings at home, and more importantly, not just played party pooper, but also the Super Kings themselves, they're in trouble once again and possibly missing out on yet another playoff berth. That's because over in Lucknow, the Super Giants' victory over the Super Kings was dedicated to the victims of the recent floodings in Uttar Pradesh, where hundreds of people lost their lives. Standing at crossroads now, the Super Kings rode courtesy Kartik Sharma's explosive 71 to help the 5-time champions post a competitive 187 runs on the board. But their bowling department once again has been without a doubt a disappointment. They were completely blown away by a blistering first wicket start of 135 between opener Mitchell Marsh and impact substitute Josh English. By chasing these runs down with over 3 plus overs remaining, the Super Giants, who are already out of the playoff running, threw the entire qualification table not only into disarray but it has opened up the door for Punjab Kings and Rajasthan Royals and even Kolkata Knight Riders to still possibly sneak in. That's because KKR earlier on today defeated... Who they defeated? Earlier today, Kolkata Knight Riders absolutely destroyed the Gujarat Titans in front of a packed Eden Gardens crowd by a massive margin. And not only they defeated the Titans, but their net run rate has taken a massive boost. They moved to 7th on the points table, just behind the Super Kings and the Royals, who can still sneak into the top 4. But with that victory and Narayan playing 200 plus matches, but we're not going to talk about Sunil Narayan today because Finn Allen blew away the Titans. The same venue where Finn Allen scored that magnificent 100 to knock South Africa out of the Men's T20 World Cup a couple of months ago. He made 93 runs in quick time today. And that set up that massive score of almost 240 odd runs on the board. And the Titans themselves from Gujarat, they were no match for the Knight Riders nevertheless. Moving away from the slam bang version of the Indian Premier League T20 to the West Indies 4-day championship, which culminates tomorrow with the 4-day final between Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. The regional first-class season is nearing an exciting climax as the 2026 abbreviated version of the West Indies 4-day championship is officially locked. And just like the 2025 Caribbean Premier League final, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana are the two remaining teams that will be fighting it out for the title. While the top-seeded Guyana Harpy Eagles engaged in what was an official first-class status exhibition match against the West Indies Academy to maintain match fitness before the final, the second and third ranked teams, the Red Force and the Barbados Pride, fought what was a brutal direct knockout match at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. What transpired across both venues, without a doubt, one venue was absolutely a flat deck. That was the famous Antigua Recreation Ground where Brian Lara broke Sir Garfield Sober's record in 94 and broke back the record in 2004, just 5 months after Matthew Hayden broke his 375, where Hayden made 380 and Lara scored 400 against England, both at the Recreation Ground. But the difference between the Recreation Ground in Antigua and Coolidge, the Coolidge Ground, without a doubt, even though rain did hijack play on the opening day, the fact of the matter was the pitch at Coolidge was sporting, unlike the one at the Recreation Ground, in which the batters absolutely feast on it over the first 3 days. Then Guyana on the last day, courtesy their spinners, absolutely blew away the West Indies Academy. But on the whole, let's say this, ladies and gentlemen, the final is set up to be an absolute classic. And best of luck, not just the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, but Guyana Harpy Eagles. Harpy Eagles looking to retain their championship, while the Red Force will be trying their very best to secure its first regional title since 2006. The last time the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team won the 4-day championship was under the leadership of Darren Ganga. That, I believe, was in 2006. And since then, their red ball cricket has just went downhill. But within the last couple of years, they've been playing terrific red ball cricket. But unfortunately, this whole bonus point thing really has denied them the chance of winning. And in the past couple of seasons, when they needed to win matches, they absolutely fucked up. Like, literally, they fumble. I beg your pardon, and excuse my language for that one. But over at the Antigua Recreation Ground, though, the Harpy Eagles sent an ambitious, emphatic message to their finalists by pulverizing the West Indies Academy by an innings and 21 runs, despite a valiant rescue act partnership of 280 runs between West Indies Academy's captain Rivaldo Clark, who smashed a brilliant 180, and Amari Goodrich, who by the way compiled a defiant 123 to post a massive first innings total of 485. Meanwhile, Guyana utilized that famous flat Antigua Recreation Ground pitch to their capacity, thanks to its youngsters out there who did play in that game. the Harpy girls did somehow mount a momentous response, courtesy where they scored a massive, towering 663 runs, spearheaded by Matthew Nandu's marathon career best 237, and an explosive debut century from 19-year-old sensation Jonathan 19-year-old sensation Jonathan Van Lag, who smashed 133. But when they came back out to bowl for the second time, off spinner Richie Lucknow, or should I say Lucknow, beg your pardon, turned the historic batting flat deck into a spinning graveyard, taking 6 wickets for 36 to bowl the West Indies Academy out for 157 in their second turn of the crease to secure a dominant innings and 21-run victory. Over at the Coolidge Cricket Ground, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force booked their ticket to the 4-day final following a hard-earning, grinding victory over the Barbados Pride, defeating them by 160 runs in their playoff match, which was a virtual knockout because whoever had won would have gone to the final. Had the match was drawn, Trinidad, who was already in second place, would have qualified anyways. After Red Force posted a solid first innings total of 333 runs on the board, their frontline pace attack of Anderson Phillip, Terrence Hines, and the spearhead of the attack, Jaden Seals, tore through the Pride top order, reducing them to 47 for the loss of 6. And following that, after being 6 down for 47, the Pride had a spectacular lower order fight back, courtesy Joshua Bishop, who was stranded on 99 not out. He hauled the Barbados Pride to 296 all out. With a narrow first innings lead and time going by to secure the result, Trinidad and Tobago's Red Force consolidated the advantage in the second innings by scoring 380, courtesy a gritty redeeming century from Cephas Cooper, and a vital 64 down the order at number 8 from Kyrie Pear, the left arm spinner, and to chase a formidable target of 318 with less than 2 sessions remaining to secure a place in the final. The Barbados Pride batting lineup was ultimately dismantled by a masterclass in spin bowling from Kyrie Pear, who finished with a superb 5 for 56, and Brian Charles, who claimed 4 wickets for 62, to bundle out the Pride for 177 to secure a huge 160-run victory. With the grand final bowling off Sunday, which is tomorrow on the 17th of May at the Sir Viv Richards Stadium in North Sound, a venue that has been under a lot of pressure lately following that match involving the Hurricanes and the Red Force, which was abandoned following a dangerous pitch and sending one of the batters to hospital. Hopefully, we see a proper sporting wicket and a fascinating contest in contrast to all the other matches that was played. It's a battle between Guyana's formidable batting lineup, anchored by the excellence of Matthew Nandu, fresh of his double century, and Test batter Tejnarayan Chandapal's resilience represents an unstoppable Harpy girls side against a Red Force side who, mind you, are yet to lose a match in this championship. And they're looking very aggressively balanced. They have the bowlers to do the job. But the question that's got to be asked, can the batters step up and follow the footsteps of Jaden Seals and Anderson Phillip, given the fact that Trinidad and Tobago, who comes into the match possibly with the edge, but Harpy girls so far, remember, has won all of its games, while Trinidad, who has won 3 out of their 4 matches, with the second match against Hurricanes ending up being abandoned due to the dangerous pitch. 2 undefeated teams. It's a battle between Harpy girls' batting lineup and their spinners versus Red Force batters and their dangerous seam attack, which has their 2 spinners. There's a possibility that both teams might go unchanged for the final. And given what we have seen so far, there is a possibility that days 3 and 4, there could be turn and bounce for the spinners. You just never know. Ultimately, what is going to decide the match is whoever holds their nerve, their cool and nerve, and most importantly, getting that vital first innings lead, especially at a venue that has been under heavy scrutiny, as I just mentioned. In part 2 of this podcast, which is in the next episode, I'll be talking about the 2026 CPL Mega Draft for local players. So stay tuned for that. But until then, guys, be good, be cool, stay frosty, and let's not dislike one another and show a lot of love all the time. Bye for now.